Shalom, my friends. Shalom to all of you. This is your old pal, Rabbi Sol Solomon, founder and spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. And oh, how much fun we're going to have talking to a guest in the neighborhood on this Shabbos morning. It is, what day it is? It's July 27th, 2024. So if you roll back the years, roll back the calendar, and go to the 60s. Ooh, the swinging. What is that? And we go to the swinging 60s and to the movies. You know, everybody loves the movies. Our guest coming to the neighborhood in a little bit is someone who fell in love, kind of like you see the girls back in the 1920s, 30s, they read Photo Play magazine, they read the movie magazines, they want to be in Hollywood, they want to be these starlets, and so, without turning into harlots. And ladies and gentlemen, here's someone who turned into almost a Hollywood starlet, because she was blonde, she was hot, she got the boobs, she got the things, so she starred in a movie, but it didn't quite go according to Hoyle, and so she moved on other things, to playwriting, and more recently to writing books even. So, ladies and gentlemen, won't you welcome to the neighborhood a woman who at one point was called CAROL Holland, but she's actually CAROL HOLLENBECK. That's her non-Hollywood, more Jewishy name, but she's not Jewish. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome a big shalom to CAROL HOLLENBECK. Shalom, CAROL.
Hi, can you hear me? Because it says mute up there.
Oh, no, if you hit that, you will mute yourself, but right now you're unmuted.
Okay, fine. Okay.
Yeah, and you sound perfect. You look great. How are you?
I'm okay. Ready to go.
Good. This is good. This is exciting. So, first of all, let's get the plugging and the pushing.
Absolutely.
Tell us about your book.
My book here. Okay. All right. Here we have A Moment of Blonde Madness, which is a novel. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. You're right. A Moment of Blonde
Always right. Yes.
And you're absolutely right about that too, I'm sure. Yes, A Moment of Blonde Madness. It's a novella. You can buy it on any of the Amazon, Barnes and Noble, whatever. And it's a novel about. It's a kind of it's in the category of mystery, stalking, suspense, very suspense. I got a great review in the Wall Street Times online several weeks ago, which called CAROL HOLLENBECK delivers chilling 1970s thriller. So it's a thriller. That's what I have to tell you.
Now, I have to ask one question because I'm a little confused. A lot of your previous materials on the web mention something called True Blondes.
True Blondes? Oh, yes, darling. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yes.
That is also on Amazon. That's a novel that I wrote several years ago, which is still up there. And it's on my website, too, carolhollenbeck.com. And along with Moment of Blonde Madness. This is the one that is recent. This just came out April 3rd. Coincidentally, on my father's birthday. I don't know. You're a higher power person. Maybe you know something about that.
I'll ask him.
I've been trying to figure it out. It was weird. But anyway, this is A Moment of Blonde Madness. It's a suspense thriller. And if you like it, I understand from people, it's a page turner. It really is. So I'm just hoping somebody would do a Lifetime movie out of it. Because that's what it is. It's basically a Lifetime movie.
But let me ask you, CAROL HOLLENBECK, what is it, even going back to childhood? I mean, I know as a male, as a person with straight testosterone coursing through his veins, what it is about blondes. But what is it for you that you've been obsessed on some level with blondiness since, almost forever?
No, you are absolutely right. You did homework or what?
Yes, I did.
Amazing. I don't know what happened, but I honestly think I came into the world with this thing. And then it became, my childhood was wrapped up in movie magazines and movies and going on Saturday afternoon and stuff. Westerns, no, my father, but the MGM musicals, all the great stars. I love to see like Betty Grable and June Haver. And I mean, that's how I go back. I mean, I'm really going back, but it was just, to me, that was what, and to see them, they're blonde. And, you know, I read this book on blondes. It's called Blonde. I don't want to get, whatever, it's a long time ago. It's the history, not about the women. It's the history of the hair. And of course, it's been, you know,
Now,
bad.
were you an actual, I mean,
Yes,
hairdresser?
this is it. This is it.
Yeah,
I was born a towhead, and now that I'm older, I don't do my hair at all because it comes out this way. But it's something that, okay. Then I clicked on to all of the. It was just something comforting about the blonde hair that, and when I started out, I knew that I had something. I knew that I had something because people kept telling me, "Oh, what you're a young Marilyn Monroe, or you're this or that." And then I won a beauty contest in my hometown of Newburgh, New York, which is where Mindy is. Mindy's from Newburgh. Mindy lives in Newburgh.
she's talking about Mindy Fradkin, our
Yeah.
guest last week in the neighborhood. Yes.
So I decided to have color on because but anyway, and that's where I was. That's where I grew up, and I became fascinated with like going to the movies. And then I did a film back in the '60s. I was a Hollywood starlet.
All right.
That is
So
the
let's slow it down a little bit because you're getting to the
I am. Okay.
So were you a model or anything? Were you trying to be an actor? Were you doing anything or
No, I actually,
the
this
movie?
is the truth.
Well,
I had relatives in Hollywood. I went to Hollywood not to be an actress, to be a movie star. That's the bottom line. That's the truth. It's not just funny, it's the real truth. I said, there's no way I'm going to get a contract. I'm going to this. In those days they signed contracts. However, when I did go to Hollywood, a lot of things fell into place. And I said, oh my God, look at this. I don't even have to sit on a drugstore stool, but Lana Turner got discovered. And there it was, everything was coming to me. People on the street, they grabbed me to go do, and today I wouldn't go, but today, a woman said to me, do you want, you a model, you're an actress? I said, yes, whichever you want. And she said, well, come with me. Well, today it would be difficult for me to think about going with somebody like that. You never know. So I went down to the studio and I ended up doing a television commercial with Audie Johnson from Laugh-In, just like that, walking on the street. Then I ended up in Las Vegas, a showgirl in a Julia Prowse show called Irma La Douce. So things were like happening, and then I did little soap opera stuff. And then I got what I thought was my big break. I got to do a film called Eden Cried, and we shot it there in a couple of weeks, low budget. I call it today a spoof on the beach party flicks, and
originally it wasn't intended to be a spoof. It was supposed to be more of a serious film when it came out.
Absolutely. You know a lot. It was definitely. And then they decided that the Walter Reed organization took over, and it was not a good film. And they decided to build it up, have a local hometown premiere. So they sent me back to Newburgh, and they had a red carpet treatment. I had a street named after me for 2 weeks.
Right.
I was taken everywhere. But there was something very dissatisfying about it, because I knew I had just been through a lot in Hollywood with the casting couch stuff. And that had nothing to do with Eden Cried, and I knew, and from the film, that I felt it wasn't going to be my big break because it wasn't that good. And so after I didn't even attend, I stayed outside and just mingled with people while the movie was on, and I went out with everybody, but I was feeling it inside. This is not for me. And I went back to Hollywood with my tail between my legs kind of thing. And then the casting couch reared its head. And I just thought, I don't think I can do this anymore. So I came back to upstate and I said, I'm going into New York to to become an actress, not a movie star.
But let me ask you also about that, because you alluded to this in other interviews, this idea of the count. Like, was every single audition you were being asked to do in a producer's office, Harvey Weinstein, 5 o'clock, and he's
No,
wearing a
yeah.
towel, what?
No, I didn't know Harvey Weinstein. I escaped that one. No, I mean, as I said, Eden cried. I did not get through any casting couch. I didn't do it. The Irma la Douce at the Riviera Hotel with Julia Prowse, absolutely legit. The
Well, because it was
commercial,
theater.
the
Everyone,
commercial.
this was a musical. All the people putting on were gay. They didn't want you.
Well, I was a showrunner, but and also the TV commercial was definitely
All
legit.
right. Okay.
Everything was, and so you see, my dilemma was it's turning into the casting couch thing, and then so I
Were
would
you ever
do-
tempted? Were you ever thinking, you know what, if I give a little, one BJ will get me a role that'll pay my bills for half a year? Or no, you're not going to go there?
well, I did have a manager who wasn't, who helped me keep my head together, kind of, and didn't insist on me doing that. He wasn't going to be a pimp. So, but I did have a very interesting experience, if you want to hear about that, is I was getting, when they were doing the Jean Harlow, which I'm also in this book, by the way.
Right. You didn't write this book, but this book is about.
Yeah.
You're right.
Dueling Harlows. There's Carol Baker, Carol Lindley on the cover. I'm a friend of Carol Baker's. I love her dearly. She is a great human being.
By the way, not to name check or log roll, but Blanche Baker, her daughter, has been on this program. So yes,
Blanche Baker's lovely. I have dinner with them sometimes, and she's a wonderful person.
yes.
Here you have me. Oh, I'm sorry. In the Dueling Harlows, when I was being considered for the Carol Lindley Harlow, not Carol Baker Harlow,
Right.
and I didn't get it. And but I had been doing a lot of campaigning for it. I had a big press thing going on. I even ended up in Hedda Hopper's column that vote. I'll show it to you 1 second. Vote a Carol Holland for Jean Harlow. And anyway, my point being that I'm not going to look for it now. I don't want to take up the time. My point being that I had a ballot, and actually 20th Century Fox got a lot of voting for me to ballots. Hedda Hopper put me in the column. At the same time, somehow I attracted somebody who was shelling, is that the word? Somebody like Maxwell, who was Epstein's procurer.
Well, I saw like a Ghislaine Maxwell back.
I had a woman doing that, was stalking me and calling all the time to my manager's office. So one day he says to me, I said, I didn't know anything about this. He said, we've got to find out who this is, because she keeps calling and calling. And it turns out he contacted the FBI and the FBI knew who the guy was that she was procuring for. And they said, we've been wanting to get him. He's on the FBI list. So I did a little undercover work for him. I mean, for that, I did a little undercover work. I'm sorry to say I was 22 years old. I was scared to death, but we had a meeting with the guy from the FBI and he wanted to set me up. And I was scared. I said, I don't want to do it. But I did go so far as to try to meet with this man. And they were going to be in another car behind me. So what happened is, I wish it had been me today, but anyway, what happened is we drove somewhere up in the Hollywood Hills. Behind me was the car with my manager in it and FBI guy. And I was in another car with somebody else driving. And we get up there and there's this big looking like warehouse. And I don't know what's going on. I mean, I get up and I know that I'm pretty safe somewhere behind me is, and he ushers me into this, like, looks like a warehouse, ushers me into this huge building. And he stands there and up in the balcony. It's not anything elegant or glamorous. Up in the balcony, this guy comes out and he says to him, this is Carol Holland. that you want to see. Well, but I must tell you, she has people in a car waiting for her. Well, that guy took off, ran down the stairs like a bat out of hell, and he left. And I don't know where he is, and I don't even know if they ever got him because I was so scared.
Oh my God.
Uh,
Well, at least you had the guts, you had the moxie. I'm surprised they didn't make you wear. Were you wearing a wire?
no,
Yeah. Oh, they didn't do that. I guess.
wait a minute. I'm not sure. I was so upset with it. And I really feel today that I would love to know more about that event because I would love to write about it. But so far, it's just 1, 2, 3, driving, meeting him for lunch, driving up, doing that, going like this, going like that. And then, no, she's got people, boom, he runs out of the place.
Actually, maybe from the Freedom of Information Act, the FOIA, if you contacted the
I've been
FBI.
trying to find out that
Yeah.
it was, what comes to mind? I've been trying to find out in the 60s, a very well-known pimp, obviously, Von Purge something, Von Purge something. And anyway, that being said, it was a frightening experience that turned out to be okay. But I always felt bad that I never really, would have liked to have got a hold of this guy. Done something. He had also, through him, I'd been sent to producers' offices, but they didn't do anything. I just sat there and they were like, I think, because she had made, and that's when he contacted the FBI because she did make a couple appointments for me to see producers.
Right.
And this was all the front because they were going to take me to Saudi Arabia or someplace because I was blonde and blue-eyed. They wanted me bad. They wanted me bad.
Wow.
And
So let me ask you, when you left Hollywood to get away from all that, which I can see is a frightening experience, how was it going back to New York? Did you try and get into the off Broadway and the Broadway circuit, or were you at that point? What did you do?
well, I came back and I went. I moved into the city, and but I lived 60 miles away. I moved into the city, and I had I always got apartments, and always was reasonable. I always got a place to stay. Always was reasonable in the 70s. I'm sorry, it was the 70s when I came back, and so there was never a hassle about that. However, I got managed. I managed to get managed by a top agent, and his name was Bobby Sanford, and he was in the Sardi building, and he actually had a house up in New Windsor near Newburgh, and that's how he found out about me. And I had done the movie, I had this, so he actually signed me, and I really liked him. I liked him and his wife. He said he was going to make a star out of me. Well, he passed away.
Okay.
So I know I'm sob story. He said, you'll have to find somebody else to make it. But I never did. I ended up just doing a lot. I did a lot of off-Broadway. Yes, I did
Did you
off-Broadway.
really? Oh, tell us about some of the off-Broadway shows you did, and
Oh, I did a hysterical one about two shopping bag ladies that live in Penn Station. It's not called "Lead Me Not into Penn Station," and that was about
like Feigl.
yeah, like back in the day, they were showgirls or something, and hell, I was young. And I was playing this weird, and I did a few I did an off-Broadway play that a reporter from the Daily News wrote. I did a lot of things and some little things in films, and Bobby Sanford had got me on soap operas a little bit before he died, and yeah, that was sad. I met Burgess Meredith through him. I met Frederick March, Patty Chayefsky.
Well, tell us something. Do you have any memories of meeting these? I mean, you say you met these people. Any stories?
Yeah.
Any anecdotes? Any memories of people like Patty Chayefsky?
Oh, I do have a memory of Patty.
Like what?
I don't know if I want to share that.
Yes, you do. You want to share it?
No, he
what?
was.
What? No, because if you read the book about Bob Fosse, Chayefsky is a big part of that
Yes, he is.
huge biography. And so he comes off as a very good guy. Did he what? Did he hit on you? What's your
Yes, he did. Yeah, he did.
So
And
all
not
right,
only hit on me, he drove up to a hotel in the Newburgh area and said, "Shall we go in?" And I said, "You're married." I no, no, I don't think so. And he had been, he used to come up to Newburgh on the weekends, and he had a wife. She was, I don't want to say too much. This is going, but I didn't know her that well, but I felt funny, after I've been in her company, and now he's hitting on me, and
man,
so
man,
I said nicely that I didn't want to go into the hotel or whatever. And my manager, Bobby Sanford, said, "Don't go don't whatever you do. I want to tell you, don't let him. Don't. He's well. I won't tell you what he said because it could cost me a lawsuit. But they didn't have they had a love-hate relationship. Sanford and Chayefsky had a love-hate relationship. That I know. And in fact, at the memorial service when Bobby died, I got mad at Patty Chayefsky. He wasn't nice.
all right.
And he wasn't nice to me because after.
Well, you spurned his sperm, so yes,
I did. So after that, and I didn't think anything. I have to tell you, I came from Newburgh and a sort of a half-ass country girl, and I was like very naive in many ways. And when I wouldn't go on with him to whatever, it ended up, I didn't even think anything of it. One day I'm in the city and I decide to go to his office. Well, my dear, you would have thought I got into Fort whatever it is where I was trying to steal gold. I knocked on he screamed at me and yelled and terribly things to get out. He was not nice. That's all I have to say.
All right.
I don't have
not every celebrity, not every great writer is a nice person, and then we tell the stories because a whole mix of who they are and who they're not. So do you have a Frederick March story?
Frederick March was lovely. I met him in this office and he gave me a picture of himself. I just met him. Burgess was a little standoffish, Burgess Meredith, but he was a good guy. He was a good actor. Bobby managed all those people, and he even managed Tim Novak. I was in very good company, and then he passed away. So
right. So how are you supporting yourself? Because you're doing these small plays. They sound off.
Oh, you mean during that time?
Yeah, during the 70s and 80s and 90s and
yes.
10s. And, yeah.
I did a lot of different things. I did a lot of work, like, regular work type, temporary work and stuff. Because I always thought, well, my big break is going to come.
You still felt, even after leaving Hollywood, you still felt, in your 30s, 50s, you thought,
but I did
around the corner.
Yeah, you're right. I did a lot of off-Broadway, and actually in Hollywood too. I was called into the Regis Philbin had taken over the Steve Allen show, and when I was up for the Harlow thing, he called me in his office and he said, another sob story, but I don't care. He said, you're going to, we got everything ready for you. If a phone call doesn't come through, you're going to go on national TV tonight dressed as Jean Harlow. So I sat there, wonderful. Well, the phone rang, and Joseph Levine had just signed Carol Baker, and he said, "I'm sorry." Another bad story. So
Regis Philbin. Oh, damn it! Oh, damn it!
No, he wasn't. I didn't have. I always wanted to, meet him and tell him that story.
Well, let me ask you, when did you start writing plays?
I was doing a lot of ushering in the Broadway theater too. I did a lot of that. So I could, and it was nice. I had at first, when I started part-time with the ushering, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I had a lot of good time. Moved to the, down to the hubbub of all of the showbiz, which is Midtown Manhattan, Hell's Kitchen.
Sure.
I'm in Manhattan Plaza. And
Oh, wait, is that where you literally live?
yeah, I've been here 40 years. Yeah.
I just recently, the producer of this program, Dave, went to Broadway to see, and there's a musical there, of course, you know, called Hell's
Oh,
Kitchen.
yes.
By
Man, Alicia Keys grew up
Alicia
here. Yeah.
Keys. Yeah, yeah. Have you seen it? Or,
I have, no, I'm going to see it. No, I met Tennessee Williams here. We spent an evening of curtain up drinking together. And I wrote about it and it ended up in the newspaper. They published it. My evening with Tennessee Williams. It was lovely. And
well,
we,
stop. Tell us a memory, an anecdote of your evening. Since you wrote about it, it must have been
okay.
something more than, oh, we just sat there and talked about it.
No. Oh, no.
Tell me.
Well, he had been, there was a woman called Olive Deering that used to hang around Sardi's and everything. She was always stalking Tennessee. She did all the biblical films, like Ten Commandments and everything. And she was kind of alcoholic. She lived she had stringy hair. She looked like a shopping bag lady. She used to but she was a star. A big Alfred Reiter was her brother or something. Olive Deering and Tennessee actually wrote a play about them. But so she kept looking for him because she would get money from him.
Oh,
so that's
because he's not going to be interested. But yeah,
I was with her in the curtain up, and he came in, and I know then somehow he got rid of her, and then we were talking, and he was telling me how she's constantly, after him and everything. So and so we just talked about a lot of different things. He said I had a great face for the theater, and we talked about animals, and he talked about his cat Sebastian, and I talked about my love for animals and stuff. And then we talked about theater and stuff, but I stopped and I just froze. And for quite a while, and he kept looking at me. What's the matter? I said, I can't believe I'm sitting here talking to you, Tennessee Williams, having a regular. I can't believe this. I couldn't get over it. So then he said I was one of his poor souls. One of his poor souls.
All right.
I mean, that's a compliment somewhere, right? And so once in a while,
a hand compliment, yeah. Well,
and I used to be in the curtain up a lot, and once in a while, he would send some of these young guys in the curtain up after they've seen him, and I don't think whatever, and he'd say, "You go look for my poor son, Carol in the curtain up," and then come in and say, "Tennessee said we're supposed to see you." It was funny. It was so fun.
I get the feeling you were on some level maybe amused again, because you fit into sort of the type of woman that he was always writing about.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he said. Yeah.
So did he ever mention any specific play that you maybe were not the direct?
No, I said I worked on Blanche a little bit in acting classes, but
no, the other way around. Did he ever tell you in one of his later plays or his one-act plays that there's a little of you in this particular character?
No.
Okay.
No, we had that one evening, and I'm sorry I don't have the article here in front of me, because I could have read some more stuff that we talked about, because I don't recall. It was all published in the Clinton Chronicle.
Sure.
Published my evening, and I don't have it, so I'm just going from memory. But it was a wonderful evening, and then he moved out, and that was one of his worst mistakes he could make, is moving away from here. And he loved being in the 10th Avenue building because of the pool. It was the health club, and he could just go down the elevator. And I lived in the 9th Avenue. But yeah, he was some fabulous guy. I mean, a nice person. That I will tell you, a nice person.
Who's another nice person that we would know of that you've dined and supped with or acted with?
Oh, well, you probably know her husband more, Gordon McRae. Gordon McRae. His wife, Sheila McRae, was my best friend, and she did nightclubs and stuff, and she did a lot of, like Marilyn Michaels. You remember Marilyn Michaels?
Marilyn Michaels has been on this program, so yes.
Wonderful. She loved Sheila, And I know that because, and a friend of mine says, oh, we have to get together. Marilyn wants to talk to you about Sheila and stuff, but Sheila died in 2014. And Sheila and I went to Sardi's. We had our own table. We went to 21. We went to a lot of places, went to theaters. We went to screenings together. She was like a family to me. And I'm still friendly with Heather, her daughter, and all. And she was wonderful. I met Celeste Holm, Jane Powell, which I'm into. And if you know.
Well, no, I mean, our viewership is a little older than 15. So a lot of people are watching this going, oh God, Celeste Holm, oh my God, Joe Powell,
Yeah, well, the thing is this, that I'm definitely only interested in the golden era of Hollywood. That's because I was going to get to when we were talking about the blonde thing. That to me, and I'm with Gloria Swanson. They had faces back then. Now today it's the cookie cutter. Oh, who do you look? Did your nose? They may be good actors. I'm sorry, they don't have it. They don't have it. You don't have Hepburn. You don't have Crawford. You don't have Marilyn. You don't have Kim. You don't have Humphrey Bogart. I'm sorry, you got nothing. I'm sorry. That's where.
All right. Okay. I'm not a fan. It's not like I'm up there. It's not like I'm Tom Cruise appearing in $200 million movies.
No. Tom Cruise is a different category. When I talk about the golden era of Hollywood that I love, and whenever I see that Hollywood sign, I melt. But you can take the Hollywood today and wipe it off. I don't care about it. But I would look at that Hollywood sign and melt still. But I'm not interested in the stars today. There are no stars today. The stars had faces. They had different individual faces.
I think stars. I mean, come on. You can tell Anne Hathaway from Scarlett Johansson. They have different.
Well, yeah, but you're getting into semantics here. I'm talking about the now I am part of that era because I was in that. So there I am in the Dueling Harlows. That was about Jean Harlow. So that makes me part of the golden era of Hollywood.
Now let me ask you: did you ever, in your own personal life, did you ever settle down? Were you ever married? Did you ever have a?
No. No.
Because you were pursuing stardom, or you just never met the person?
The people that I chose in my life, thank God I didn't marry them. Oh, please. I'd be divorced up to my who know what.
All right. That's again.
It's like ridiculous. I mean, one alcoholic after another, or this or that, or I mean, no, no.
So let me spin that to you were writing these plays, and
yes,
one-act plays for the Samuel.
Yes.
How did it come to actually writing a novel and now a novella? When did you go with a longer form?
Oh, that's interesting because I went with the longer. I started in a group in our building here on playwriting. I started with Arthur Coppett, who taught the plays.
Oh my God, Arthur, the guy who wrote Wings?
Wait a minute. The plays? Yes. You're right. You're right.
Yeah, no, he wrote some brilliant.
You're right again.
Yeah, my God.
And he wrote something else with a funny closet or something. Somebody.
Oh, Dad, poor Dad.
Mama's yes.
I'm feeling so bad. Yeah.
We were invited as residents. He taught here through the university. He taught in our building and we were invited as residents, as actors, to become readers for his students. And what happened is I got into the writing. And then when he left, John Greer took over. So I went to John Greer's workshop for a little while. And then I went out, I met August Wilson and who I was ushering the show. And August and I got talking when Ma Rainey's back in town. And then he ended up going to the Curtain Up with me and telling me about exercises for writing. I was just like, I need to know maybe something. So I learned through all these people. But
You learn from some of the most important playwrights of the 20th century, for crying.
Yes, I know. Except that August Wilson wasn't nice to me because I met because he was interested in me in a different way than Coppett wasn't and John Guare, but August Wilson was interested in me, a little bit more, and it didn't happen. So when I did see him again, he just acted like he didn't know me. So, but anyway, that doesn't. I mean, he did give me some pointers along with other.
So I'm going to give you a very different pointer, but he gave you good ideas about the script. Did you learn anything from John Guare? What did you learn from him? He's the guy who wrote 6 Degrees of Separation.
I learned a lot. Well, he was on the style of Arthur Coppett because he took over for him.
Yeah.
The most thing I learned is how to start a play, how to get involved in it. And it was like one sentence. And I started my first one-act play with, "Did you bring it?" And that was it. And it went on from there. And it worked. It worked beautifully. So I used it in other things. Or Upstate Morning, where the body's missing, and they're waiting for it, and everything gets, it's a comedy, everything gets.
Yeah.
That script turned into a screenplay, and that also was handled by Leo Bookman, who was a top agent. And guess what? He dropped it after telling me he was.
He dropped dead, but he dropped it.
No, he dropped it. He dropped it. He had told me it was a package deal, and it was a star pack, and it was a funny script. And then he ended up dropping. So, I've had my ups and downs, but I keep going.
So are you still writing plays?
No, I'm promoting Moment of Blonde Madness, and I'm promoting the Harlows, and I'm doing a monologue this coming Wednesday, July 31st, in our building. It's called Six Characters in Search of an Author. And I'm doing that. I'm doing my Broadway Baby monologue when I was ushering, and it's very funny. And then
so is it the Pirandello thing, or completely nothing to do with Pirandello?
Wow. No, nothing. It's just a play on words with Pirandello.
All right.
And then the August 6th is when Tom Lisanti is coming, and we got the soap opera women from Ryan's Hope that are going to read, and we got a new book on Bette Midler. The writer's coming for that.
So let me ask you: is this open only to people at Manhattan Plaza?
No, honey. I wish you would come. Bring whoever you want.
Oh, did it have kosher catering? Because that's important. How do people find out? Do they just go to ManhattanPlaza.com, or how do they do? What do they do? How do they find out about these things?
Well, I'll have to send you. I don't have your email, do I?
It's fine. But
August 6th, 7:00. It's the second floor. It's on a Tuesday. The Ellington Room of Manhattan Plaza is going to be Babes, Soap, Babes, Blondes, Soap and Bed, something like that. Babes, Blondes, Soap and Bed. So
at least 2 of the 4. So
2 actresses from Ryan's Hope are going to read from Tom's book. Tom and I are going to do a little bit from Dueling Harlows, where I'm in it. And I'm going to read from Moment of Blonde Madness.
There you go.
And then the guy who has the Bette Midler book, he's going to read from the Bette Midler book.
Oh, that's right. But also, what's happening on the 31st is you doing a monologue on your own stuff.
I'm doing a monologue called Broadway Baby.
Yeah.
I'm going to read it. Yeah, read it. It's. Yeah, I did it at the West Bank. The West Bank.
Are you going to help try and keep the West Bank going? You heard about
that? Well, I'm getting very good news about it. We're getting very good news about the West Bank.
They're
busier than they've ever been.
Here's the deal. This is kind of funny, actually. The West Bank Cafe, which has been the staple of the Hell's Kitchen area and near Theater Row.
Yeah.
For cabaret people and some theaters done there, and it's a local bistro where people have eaten for years and years in the theater community. And of course, they can't pay their rent, and they don't have money. So they're doing up a GoFundMe page, which is lovely. It's like, can you save this? And they've raised, at least 2 days ago, I checked, it's like $24,000. But they're trying to raise $850,000. So it's like $24K almost 1 million. It's like, really, really. I mean,
Well,
what?
you know,
Huh?
right before the pandemic, they had another one. They raised over 300,000.
All right, all
Going.
right. But if it's good news, it's got to be some incredibly rich, generous person who's
Well,
going.
there was, I heard a rumor a billionaire had been talking to them.
There you go. That's what it'll take.
Now,
Lin-Manuel Miranda is like, I saved the drama bookshop. Maybe this place too.
oh, you're you're very, you're very, yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, but I know also, I did the Broadway Baby monologue at the West Bank in the 90s, late night Saturday night comedy, and Louis Black directed me.
Oh my! Do you have any memories of Louis Black, the
Oh,
comedian?
I love, he's a nice person. I love him. I saw him the other day. He's great. He's nice. Yeah, I saw him in the bagel place. We have a new
What was he
bagel
like
place.
as a director before he was famous?
Um, he's okay. He's good. He's good. He directed I auditioned for them. I auditioned my monologue. It runs 9 minutes, and he loved it. So then he directed me, and he put me on 3 Saturday nights, and then that was it. And then nothing happened. So
Oh, well,
I moved on to other things. Like I said, I nominated 3 times in the Samuel French one-act play because I kept, writing, and the plays were being done all over. One-acts were being done all over off Broadway.
Sure.
And then I have a hometown premiere, which is based loosely on my experience with my hometown movie premiere, which was done at the Ritz Theater in Newburgh. 2017, they did sponsored a reading of it. And they acknowledged me once again, my hometown.
Nice.
Yeah, it is. For a person who didn't become a star, my hometown doesn't care. They still like me.
Maybe they like you because you didn't become a star.
And,
You didn't become
yeah.
a diva. So, I didn't come from Newburgh. I came from Idaho. You never know with that. Yeah.
So, we just keep moving along. Oh, Eden cried. Here, I want you to see this.
Oh, please, yes.
This was the poster for the movie. Oh, I didn't finish the story on that. I'll tell you.
Yeah,
You
tell us.
love this story. This movie, as you see right here, I have it on a mouse pad. I have it on, it's on 24. I get no money because of 6. It's on coffee cups on Amazon, my picture, my name. It's on hoodies. It's on t-shirts. All of this, my freaking pictures all over the place. I happen to buy all the stuff too.
You're the one keeping them in business, and you hate your movie. You used to but you don't want to see it.
Oh, yeah. That I'm going to quickly tell you. What happened is it went missing. And actually, Tom did a Cinema Retro article on me about the missing film. It went missing for almost 5 decades. I didn't even want to see it, didn't want to hear about it, nothing. I hated everything about it. And then one day I hear somebody say, I found your film. I said, what film? He even cried. Oh, it's on sinistercinema.com. What? Oh my God. And then I got a copy. We showed it around. I'm telling you what they did. They changed it. They put a narrator in. And it's like, do you remember the Mystery Science films where they had 2 people sitting and people it's like that. And I love it. I adore it. It is so stupid and corny because it's about the beach party days, the beach party films, and it's hysterical. And I'm the star of it. And I want to make it a cult classic. I've been trying to. I might, it's just, and they put it in Cinema Retro. It's just adorable.
Well, look, it's happening. It's gone from being a completely lost and despised film to a cult curiosity that's getting mugs and hoodies on Amazon. So
mugs and yeah, and it came out that people liked it. We had in the Ellington room. I showed it twice. First time we had a very big house. The second time, standing room only came to see my film. Standing room only was wonderful, just wonderful. And I, who hated it, And I told her, don't ever mention this movie to me. Don't even talk about it. I threatened my family. Don't, if you go out and talk about that movie, I'll walk away from you. And now I love it. I embrace it. It is wonderful. It is so silly. It's so corny. We got a guy playing the lead who was 35 then, and he was playing a 17-year-old.
Yeah.
So it's
That was
like,
actually fairly typical for the time. But yeah. I mean, it sounds like I gotta see this movie, and people have to see this woman, Carol Hollenbeck. She's gonna be at Manhattan Plaza on the 31st. That's just a couple of days. What is that, Wednesday?
yeah, next Wednesday. But also August 6th, because Tom LaSanta's with me, and I love Tom, and I want it. And he wrote the book Dueling Harlows, and I'm in it. But I'm going to read. See, I'm reading from my book on August 6th, A Moment of Blonde Madness.
And people can get A Moment of Blonde
They
Madness.
can get it on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, or whatever. And I'll have books. I'll have a few books to sell.
Wonderful.
I sell it for 10. On Amazon, it's 14.
So they just go right to her. What is her website again? Can we give that out?
www.carolhollenbeck.com.
Carol Hollenbeck.
And by the way, I might be Jewish too. I got to do my ancestry.
Oh, well, what makes
you're adorable. I love you. I love you.
What makes you think? I gotta ask before we let you go.
Because in 2019, I went back to California because I simply wanted to see something. Their whole area there called Hollenbeck Park, Hollenbeck Lake, actually was in Chinatown, where they talked about Hollenbeck River, and they had Hollenbeck Park, they have Hollenbeck Bridge, and Hollenbeck House, and blah blah blah. So, make a long story short, they said, "Oh, don't go down there. It's the drive-by shootings or whatever." But my friend and I had the car, and we went to Hollenbeck Park, and it was just beautiful and amazing. And they had the Hollenbeck police station and everything. So I'm sitting there with somebody who lived in the building, and he just came out and he said, "Do you know that the Hollenbecks were Jewish?" I said, "I didn't know that." Thought I was Dutch.
Right, exactly. Hollenbeck. It doesn't sound.
And that's why I changed and that's so make it long. I did not do ancestry, but then I found out that there was an Ernie Hollenbeck in the Holocaust. I don't know. That was.
It's funny how you can't mention Jewish and in 10 seconds you gotta mention the Holocaust.
I'm so sorry.
It goes together like peanut butter and jelly.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
but
no, it's fine. It's
the
but
connection.
It's the
But then I did go to the and John Hollenbeck married a German Jewish woman from Germany. So
maybe you might do the spit thing. Go do the DNA. Pay the $20.
I like all things Jewish. So
good. If you love movies, and you love the theater, right? And you hung out with Tennessee Williams, a Fagler, you're Jewish. Come on.
I love this. I love this. Hey, one day.
We love you, Carol. We love Carol Hollenbeck. Go to carolhollenbeck.com. Go see her in Manhattan Plaza. And we thank you so much for joining us in the neighborhood. We want to wish you much, much more writing, much success, and shalom to you.
Shalom to you. I'll have a glass of wine.
Mangashet, make it Mangashet.
I love you. I love you. You're great.
Bye-bye.
Have you on again sometime. You're fun. I enjoyed this. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Oh, boy, wasn't that wonderful? Wasn't that delightful? Carol Hollenbeck. Oh, how much fun we have had.